What's up, y'all? I'm gonna tell y'all about my first car audio experience. Um, I grew up in a stereo shop um, my whole life. You know what I'm saying? From a year old older. You know what I'm saying? That was how my parents made their money. Okay, but no one ever taught me these very few rules of subwoofers. You know what I'm saying? Subwoofer enclosures, to be specific. On average, you're supposed to have anywhere from 12 to 16 port area per foot. I had no idea. I knew everything else there was to know about car audio. The the high end, you know what I'm saying? the, the low end, the specifications of the sub. And I didn't know that. I knew everything else there was to know about enclosures and all that shit. What net volume they're supposed to have, yeah, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And how much cone area goes into everything. You know how much cone area you can put in a small space and get this amount of output. All that stuff. Displacement of the subs. Displacement of the box. All that shit. I found out way before I knew that. And I feel like if I would have, but I'm gonna tell you what happened to me. Okay, there was a car show. You know what I'm saying? They this car audio group, Panama City Car Audio Group. Um, they had a little show or whatever that you come to show off your build. And I went there and everybody thought I was gonna be super loud because I grew up in a car audio shop, and it wasn't as loud as everybody thought it would be. Sure, I had two Lanzar Opti 12s, the 1233s or whatever, the ones that you dual 1.3 ohm or some shit. I had two of those, and I had a Mats. No, I had a DS18 7000.1. It was decent. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was it was enough to get me loud. But here's the thing. I look back on that box and one of the dudes there, shout out to Tim Stack. That's that's my dude. If he wouldn't have said anything about it, I'd have never went on in Cars Audio trying to figure out. And even when he said it, it still didn't resonate to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Port area per foot. What are you? It wasn't clicking. You know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes you got to sit down and you got to think about stuff and you got to find out stuff on your own. So even when he said something, I was like, all right, okay, whatever, man. And then not until like a few years later, I went from 212s to 215s in that same box because that's what I built it for. I originally built the box for 215s, and I was just gonna put 12s in it for now until I could, afford to buy me the 215s. Okay, so a few years passed by, a couple years actually, I think, and I now got the 215s, and I'm running my box through my my program and whatnot, and I see the port area per foot, okay? And somebody, I'm reading online and stuff like that, and I see, that your average port area per foot is supposed to be 12 to 16. And that finally clicked, okay? And I'm like, you dumbass. How did you not know this? You research all this stuff every single day and you come across these numbers every single day. How could you not know that? Okay? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk y'all heads off, but I have to tell y'all this story. So I look back at mine and I have eight. Eight per foot. That's the number it says on my program. I can't tell you how upset at myself I was because I've known car audio for so fucking long and I didn't know those numbers or how to play with them at that. You know what I'm saying? Go in there, fidget with this, make this smaller, make this bigger, add a different baffle, add some support, make the numbers go up, something like that. In that nature. So I go to my dad and I'm just like, fuck, we messed up. And here I am today. I could build you a box that's loud as fuck. And people wonder how, you know what I'm saying? It's because I didn't know that information, and I went from 215s to 112. And I told y'all many times, back in the day, I had an extended cab 95 Dodge Dakota. Small cabin area. But, the whole back was a box for 215s. You look back, you see a big ass box. And this is what happened to me. I went from 215s, sold them, everything, put everything out the truck, sold them, and I went to 112. One Resilient Sounds Platinum 12 D2. I had a Mats 3500 from back in the, my dad gave it to me. He had it back in the day, and he was just like, "Here, you can have this." I'm like, all right, cool. First time I had it though, this is a long ass story. Bear with me, man. First time I had the, the, you know, the amplifier and I hooked it up. Apparently didn't, you know, have the electrical to support it. Just like any other dumbass, that starts out in car audio, do all your research. Like, oh, you need an alternator, you need a battery. I found all that shit out later. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just thinking, man, when we start out in cardio, we do some dumb shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. We don't run shit correctly because you just doing the cheapest thing you want to do just to get some beat. And I understand, man. I get you, but if you don't run your shit correctly, some shit'll get fucked up. And that's what happened. Blowing fuses, um, melting, fuse boxes. Um, your truck will cut off. My truck cut off. It hit one. I was on the way home one time. Hit and bass hit so damn hard. I ain't had an electrical. Motherfucker truck shut off. So I was rolling like into the median, and then I had to crack my truck back up. I cannot make this shit up, man. It was some funny shit, and it just went from there. But I went from 112 Resilient Sounds Platinum, and I redid the box, and I felt so stupid because I had did this big ass box. This box was like 8 cubes net, and I didn't know what the fuck how to. It was tuned to 40, and I'm like, are you serious, man? My mind just opened up, and I'm just like, you. And I felt so dumb because I grew up around this, man, and I didn't know. So, 112 Resilient Sounds Platinum. I know I'm rambling. And I redid the box. Port area was 14.25. And when I tell you it was hanging right there with them 215s, the shit was insane. And I'm like, how? I had way more cone area here. And it goes back to shout out to my boy MB doing your thing, man. That legend in the game, man. Shout out to MB. Um, and it's hanging with them 215s. I had a addictive audio 2000.1. And then, okay, as soon as that happened, I learned about box rise. Okay. And I was like, yeah, man, it's hitting, you know what I'm saying? It's doing pretty good. It's almost as loud as them 215s I had. And then I learned about box rise, okay? And then that shit, and it was in the correct enclosure, you know what I'm saying? I had it about 2.5 foot. Um, and all of a sudden that clicked because I'm watching like these old Orion videos, where they used to test the ACCA amplifiers. This dude had a minivan. And he had a whole bunch of ACCA amplifiers that I used to do burp tests on, and he said wired in half, rose to 1 ohm, and that's when it clicked in my head again. And I'm like, are you serious? You rise from half ohm to 1 ohm, and then you don't get the same output of power. And it's crazy to me. This shit is beyond my, like, you know, to where I should know this shit. And I'm just like, I just feel so fucking stupid. Um, Bear with me, man. I'm still rambling. And I had a Matt amplifier 3500. I only reason I didn't put it on the sub because I was scared I was gonna blow the son of a bitch. It was inverted. That's when you put the woofer in upside down for newbies. Hanging outside the box. Um, and I'm playing it. I'm like, I got a 3500 Mats. I wonder if it'll sound any louder on this sub. And I was scared to blow it, but I figured, it was getting its full power if I were to put that amplifier on it. So I did. And it turned out it was just fine. Motherfucker was loud as shit. It was as loud as them 215s. And I mean knocking them upside the head. And I'm like, God, I got way more space back here now. What am I doing? I had all that space on the sides of it. Put extra shit. And it's loud as can be. But that goes to show, man, knowledge is everything. So when you dig into something, fully dig into something before you ever decide to build or start a project or anything like that. Do your research. Knowledge is king. Knowledge is everything, man. So whatever it is you do, man, make sure you fully do that. Else you be sitting out here ducking, and then somebody come over there and tell you, and then you feel dumb. You feel like they threatening you, and you feel threatened by them because they know so much more than you do, and then you start to feel insecure about yourself. So when you do some research, do it all the way, 100%. Don't half-ass it. But sometimes we got to go out there and look like a fool to get information. So that goes back to another thing. Don't be afraid to ask. If somebody knows more than you, don't be too proud to ask. But that's my car audio experience, man. And I love y'all. Till next time. Sorry for the long video. Next time. It's your man, Gas Life.